Okay, here's a little story about chiropractic that you might not know about. A really long time ago in Davenport, Iowa, like over 100 years ago, I mean, we're talking like September 18th, 1895 ago, there was this guy named Daniel David Palmer, but all his friends called him DD for short. Anyway, DD is the founder of this thing that we now know as chiropractic. Yeah, it's a pretty cool story actually. The way DD discovered chiropractic was like this. There was this guy that worked in the building that Dr. Palmer worked in. He was like the maintenance guy there, and his name was Harvey Lillard to be exact. And the thing about Harvey was that he couldn't hear out of his right ear. Yeah, the guy had been deaf in his right ear for like 17 years. That's a really long time to be deaf. Anyway, Harvey told Dr. Palmer that 17 years prior, he was working and stooped over to pick up a bucket when he heard a loud pop in his neck, and shortly afterwards, he lost his hearing. So, Dee, being a very well-educated man and all, started putting two and two together. And he thought to himself, if Harvey heard a loud pop in his neck right before he lost his hearing, maybe that loud pop in his neck was the spinal bone popping out of place. And if the bone is out of place, it could be interfering with his auditory nerve. That's the nerve that goes to your ear, by the way. And that could be what's causing Harvey's hearing loss. So, Dee asked Harvey if he could feel around his neck. And Harvey said, yeah, sure, do whatever you need to. So Dee started feeling around Harvey's neck and ended up finding a very prominent lump in his neck muscles, and he could feel it was hard, like a bone. When he pushed on it, Harvey was like, hey man, that's sore. That's when Dee told Harvey his theory. You know, that he thought that Harvey might have a bone out of place in his neck that might be interfering with the nerves that go to his ears, causing his deafness. And since nerves control everything, including how we touch, taste, smell, see, and hear, that interference might be causing Harvey's hearing problem. Harvey was like, makes sense to me. So Dee asked Harvey, can I push on the lump in your neck and try to fix it? At first, Harvey was kind of scared because it was already kind of sore just from Dee barely touching it. But after about 30 minutes of Dee trying to persuade Harvey that it might get him his hearing back, Harvey finally agreed to let Dee push on the lump. Now get this, Harvey laid down on a bench and Dee stood above him and put his hands directly on the lump on Harvey's neck. And with one swift movement, Dee pushed down on the lump in Harvey's neck and they both heard a loud pop, just like the one that Harvey heard when he first lost his hearing. Within minutes, Harvey heard something that he hadn't heard out of his right ear in over 17 years. The sound of horses' hooves clapping in the street. Remember, this was 1895. Harvey could hear again. Word spread fast, and before you knew it, people were talking about what happened over at Dr. Palmer's office. And all sorts of people were flocking there to see if Dr. Palmer could push on their spines and make them better too. This new treatment of health problems needed a name, so after much consideration, Dee called it chiropractic, which in Greek means done by hand.